Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing. And I know that seems strange to a lot of people.
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and trafficking case.
Diddy Combs, once celebrated as one of hip-hop's most influential moguls, now finds himself at the center of a legal firestorm that could irrevocably change his legacy. This latest chapter in his life sees him confined to a federal jail, embroiled in a high-stakes battle for his freedom as he faces severe charges of racketeering and trafficking. His third attempt to secure bail has been denied.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily so, I guess, right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
With Judge Ron Subban delivering a scathing assessment that underscores the gravity of the situation. According to the court, no financial incentive or restrictive measure could guarantee the safety of the public if Combs were to be released. The judge's comprehensive ruling offers a bleak outlook for the former Bad Boy Records icon, who now grapples with not only legal challenges, but also a severely tarnished reputation. The stakes in this case extend far beyond Combs's personal liberty. They threaten the...
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated.
Very empire he painstakingly built over decades. A sprawling network of business ventures, music royalties, and public influence. Combs's legal team had proposed an unprecedented $50 million bail package, accompanied by stringent conditions, including round-the-clock private security, a complete ban on internet and phone access, and confinement to a highly secured residence. However, the court remained
to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
Convinced. Judge Subban articulated that even these measures would not suffice to mitigate the risks Combs poses to the community. The core of the case, charges and evidence. Judge Subban's decision was grounded in 4 critical factors: the nature of the charges, the strength of the evidence against Combs, his personal history, and the potential risk he posed if released. The charges alone are staggering: racketeering, coercion.
Is everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not...
And leading a criminal enterprise that prosecutors argue facilitated years of unchecked misconduct. These accusations portray a man who allegedly wielded his vast wealth and influence to operate above the law, manipulating situations to his advantage without fear of repercussion. However, these charges are not merely speculative. They are supported by a trove of damning evidence. One of the most significant pieces is a 2016 video that has since become infamous. The footage, captured in a Los Angeles hotel hallway, reportedly depicts Combs engaging in abusive behavior toward his then-partner, Cassandra Ventura. Widely known as Cassie, in the video, Combs, clad only in a towel, can be seen dragging Cassie to the ground, kicking her, and forcefully pulling her back toward their hotel room. Prosecutors have presented this video as a glaring example of the violence and control that allegedly characterized Combs' relationship with Cassie and others. The video is
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
further corroborated by a series of text messages exchanged between Combs and Cassie after the incident. These messages reveal a harrowing narrative of physical abuse and emotional trauma. In one exchange, Cassie reportedly describes her injuries in detail, saying, "I have a black eye and a swollen lip. You're sick for thinking this is okay." Another message references severe bruising, with Cassie lamenting, "I still have crazy bruising." Such evidence paints a chilling picture of a pattern of
So that, they probably didn't see these notes and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours gathering evidence for your side or, strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh no, please don't destroy, please return.
abuse that prosecutors argue extended far beyond a single incident. Obstruction allegations and jailhouse misconduct. The case against Combs is not limited to physical violence. Prosecutors have also leveled serious allegations of obstruction, accusing Combs of attempting to manipulate witnesses and influence the public narrative around his case. These accusations are bolstered by reports of misconduct during his time at the Metropolitan Detention Center. Combs is alleged to have used other inmates' phone access codes to make unauthorized calls, a direct violation of detention rules. Additionally, he is accused of using private messaging services to communicate with individuals outside the facility, circumventing standard monitoring protocols. Prosecutors argue that some of these communications were intended to tamper with witnesses or sway potential jurors. In one instance, a social media campaign coinciding with Combs' recent birthday,
if they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct and being in those spaces, consuming and things of that nature.
was cited as part of this broader strategy. The campaign featured a video of Combs' children celebrating his birthday and expressing their love for him, which prosecutors contend was designed to garner public sympathy and influence jurors. During a phone call, Combs allegedly remarked, "I just need one," implying that his goal was to sway at least one juror in his favor.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
Infamous jailhouse notes. Another explosive element in this case involves handwritten notes seized from Combs' jail cell. These notes, described by prosecutors as anything but ordinary, reportedly contained instructions for gathering damaging information on his accusers. Some entries allegedly detailed efforts to discredit key witnesses, while others hinted at plans to offer financial incentives in exchange for favorable testimony. Though Combs' legal team has dismissed these allegations as misinterpretations of private thoughts, the discovery has only added to the controversy surrounding.
Even more important than the passport is that Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5th. As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon, Mr. Combs got on a plane, left his home in Florida, flew to New York. I called the prosecutors myself. I said, "Mr. Combs is in New York. Do you want to know where he is?"
His case. Defense versus prosecution, the bail debate. Despite the overwhelming evidence and allegations, Combs' defense team has vigorously contested the court's decisions. Led by attorneys Mark Agnifilo and Alexander Shapiro, the defense has characterized many of the charges as exaggerated or entirely unfounded. They have emphasized Combs's willingness to comply with strict bail conditions, arguing that such measures would ensure his
So my defense is very well established. I interviewed myself the different men who were being brought sort of into Mr. Combs and this person's intimate situation. I've flown around the country. I've interviewed a large number of them. There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done, of anything that's coercive, non-consensual.
Adherence to court orders. The proposed arrangement included confinement to a secured Manhattan apartment, monitored by a private security team that would oversee his every move. However, Judge Subban expressed deep reservations about the effectiveness of such measures, particularly the use of privately hired security. The judge noted that this setup could undermine the principle of equal justice, effectively allowing wealthy individuals to buy their way out of detention. The concern was that private security personnel, despite their obligations, would ultimately answer to Combs, not the court, raising doubts about their impartiality and ability to enforce compliance. A grim road ahead. With his bail denied, Combs now faces the daunting task of preparing for his trial from the confines of a jail cell. His legal team has signaled their intention to appeal the decision, but the likelihood of success remains uncertain.
Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail for the third time, a federal judge saying that the government had proven by clear and convincing evidence that there were no conditions of release that would ensure the safety of the community.
The defense denying these claims and is pushing for his release under strict conditions, including a $50 million bond and 24/7 monitoring at a secured Manhattan apartment. There will be a hearing today where both sides will have a chance to clarify exactly how Combs has been connecting with the world outside his jail cell.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
Meanwhile, the allegations against Combs continue to mount, with new claims and lawsuits surfacing almost weekly. For a man who once stood as a towering figure in the music industry, the reality of his situation is stark. A small, confined cell, an ever-growing mountain of legal challenges, and a legacy hanging precariously in the balance. This legal saga, far from reaching its conclusion, seems poised to dominate headlines for the foreseeable future. Should Diddy Combs, once celebrated as one of hip-hop's most influential moguls, now finds himself at the center of a legal firestorm that could irrevocably change his legacy. This latest chapter in his life sees him confined to a federal jail, embroiled in a high-stakes battle for his freedom.
Wait a minute, say that again. Say that again, back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood. But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Not buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple of different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also too mean emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change their...
As he faces severe charges of racketeering and trafficking. His third attempt to secure bail has been denied, with Judge Ron Subban delivering a scathing assessment that underscores the gravity of the situation. According to the court, no financial incentive or restrictive measure could guarantee the safety of the public if Combs were to be released. The judge's comprehensive ruling offers a bleak outlook for the former Bad Boy Records icon, who now grapples with not only legal challenges, but also a severely tarnished reputation. The stakes in this case extend far beyond Combs's personal liberty. They threaten the very empire he painstakingly built over decades, a sprawling network of business ventures, music royalties, and public influence. Combs's legal team had proposed an unprecedented $50 million bail package, accompanied by stringent conditions, including
when people got a lot of money and they got lawyers that could come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts, that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence. Diddy is a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. If he wins this case against them, look at all the business that he lost. Look what they made him look like in the public eye. He could bankrupt. he could bankrupt the government. They know they already won their case. He's gonna have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns. It may be the trafficking. It may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about. But he's gonna have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.